Hi, I'm Arya Chandran. We often take data for granted. But my question is, where does this data come from? I know that when swine flu hit Mexico in 2009, you were masked and out in the streets and in the metro collecting data. So, could you outline an optimum data management strategy?
Thank you, Arya, for your thoughtful question. This business about data collection is a very important step in any kind of research. So it's not always where you actually get to design what you want to do and how you're going to collect data and so on. If you have a pot of money, then you can do that. More often than not, you don't. So what do you do in such circumstance? Here is one example how we did that in 2009. So when the swine flu hit Mexico, and Mexico was considered the ground zero for swine flu, which actually is not, but that's another matter altogether. So how it started is the following. I was on a Friday, I go home, I turn off my TV, and then I go to bed early. Because on the Saturday morning, I was organizing a conference and I had to get up early to make sure everything works and so on. So I get up early and go to the university to start that process. As soon as I go to the gate, the man says, "You cannot come inside." I said, "What do you mean you cannot come inside? Here's my ID. Why can't I come inside?" And he says, "The president of the country declared last night that all educational institutions are closed." At first I thought he was joking, and he wasn't. That's exactly how it turned out. So all of a sudden, here we are, nothing to do, and the university is shut indefinitely. So I called up my co-author, and we were working on some other projects. And I said, "Listen, the university is closed, we cannot go and do anything. Why don't we start gathering some data about this stuff?" And what is this stuff? He asked me. So I said, this stuff meaning they are asking people to wear masks when they go out in public. So let's go start measuring how many people are complying wearing masks. People had no idea whether they would comply or not. But the fear was there because this was something new. People didn't know what it was. All they knew was they were hearing rumors about many people are getting sick, many people are dying, and something needs to be done. And the government is telling them, stay home, don't go any place, don't go to see movies, don't go here, don't go there, don't ride the public transport unless you absolutely have to, and so on and so forth. So I said, let's do one thing. We will go out and measure. You live in a different parts of city, I need another part of the city. So you go out to your local metro station and start measuring how many people are wearing masks. We want to relate that to something. He said, what exactly do I measure? I said, just observe, let's say 100 people coming in an hour, what proportion of them are wearing masks? So you make a tally. Person A wearing mask, person B coming out not wearing masks, person C, etc., etc. And that's how we kept on measuring. So every day we would go out to the metro station and measure what proportion of people over a period of time. We chose a time which were peak rush hours in the morning and in the evening. And we measured what proportion of those people were wearing masks. So I also had a vague notion that there may be a difference between men and women wearing masks. So I said, also make a note whether the person you are recording is a man or a woman. Most of the time you can tell who's who, but sometimes it's kind of tricky. I said, well, let's ignore those people. So we kept on measuring those things. And we did that for over a period of 12 days. And as you might imagine, the number of people wearing masks kept going down and down and down over that period of time as people got less fearful. So here's a graph that's showing what I just said. You see over time, number of people wearing masks keep going down. However, and here's the important point, we found that there's a significant difference between men and women wearing masks. So on the average, women were more prone to wear masks consistently than men. And they are statistically significant at whatever level of significance you choose in your study. And so then we were able to relate that back to other kinds of risk taking by men and women. For example, if there is some dangerous roads, do men cross those dangerous roads more often when the traffic light is not favorable than women? The answer is yes. Do women have more accidents than men in general? The answer is yes. Do men have more car accidents than women? The answer is yes. So we were able to relate that to all sorts of differences between men and women. And that's how this study could relate to a whole bunch of other studies in whole other domains that nobody has thought of in this particular one. One other thing we later on found out, that this study was absolutely unique in the whole world. Nobody had done it before us or since we did this. In fact, now with the COVID rise, wearing masks, not wearing masks became a huge controversy. And our experiment showed and shed some light on what the public policy should